Hi there, dear friends, this is Grace and welcome to another process video. Before I get on, I just want to share with you what my plan is for this page. So this is my page where I'm going to be using scraps, and not just scraps of paper and products, but also scraps of pictures. Now, you might have some leftover pictures like I do. Sometimes we print too much, or sometimes we plan on using some pictures but we end up not using it. And so a great way, well, what I do anyways for my extra photos is that I actually make a front page for every yearly album that my family has. So sometimes my yearly albums go beyond one album, and so sometimes it's like 1.5 or maybe 2.5 or something like that. And so for me to divide between, say, 2010 and 2011, I usually insert a front page for my 2011 so that the viewers of my album will know exactly that we're done with 2010, we're moving on to 2011. And so when I make those front page or front page in my scrapbooks, I usually just do a collage of little bits and pieces of or pictures showing what we've done that year. And so that is for me the best way for me to use up some leftover photos. So I'm just going to share with you. Okay, so let's talk about scraps. So one of the things that I plan on using with this page is using up some leftover letters. And so these are just letter stickers from Simple Stories that I pulled out from the sticker sheet itself and just added it to this pattern paper. And so there's no rhyme or reason. I just put them together, and I'm thinking that I can use that as my pattern papers for this. So that's one scrap that I'm going to use. Another thing, scraps are my photos. I have some 3x4 photos here. Now I picked 3x4 because the spaces that I have with this negative space if I put a 2x3, it's a little bit too small for the space, and I guess I could just back it up with pattern paper or cardstock, but I want to do some 3x4s on these ones. So these are just leftovers from 2011 that I'm going to use for my front page. And then also scraps of cardstock that I had cut or that I had run through my die cut machine or my Silhouette to make some specific cuts and designs. Like these ones are from Steel Dies. And then this word Celebrate is from a black cardstock that I'd cut from my Silhouette, and I just used the free font. I can't quite remember what this free font is, but if you ever want to know what the fonts that I'm using for the titles that I've pre-cut, you can always look at, I have a tip video for DIY calligraphy fonts, and that's going to be in the description below as well, and so you can find out which font that I use, and all of them are free. So that's that. And then I've also cut some, these are just rectangles that have the stitching on the edges over here, and I just used some scraps of paper to cut that out, and I don't know what I'm going to use this for, but I want to use them up. And these are cut with a memory box steel die, one of those nested dies that have the stitching. And then here's some more, a different size, and then also some circles that I cut. These I cut from an Avery L, I believe, or maybe a Lawn Fawn, one of those, and it has double stitched. So that's, and then I just added some stickles to this. This was actually a leftover from another project. I added, no, not stickles, but those Ranger liquid pearls, and I added that there, let it dry, and so I have this accent. And then this big one is a leftover from a cut that I had made. I just made a bunch of, I want to say these are 2x3, maybe 2.25x3, and I use that for another project. And I always like to keep my negatives from when I do some cuts with my Silhouette, because I can use that as a background page. And I try not to hoard too much of these things, but when I do have an idea with them, I keep them. And so that's going to be kind of my base. And then of course this white cardstock, which you all know, if you've seen a lot of my videos, you know that I don't use white cardstock. I use the back side of a pattern paper that I no longer like, and that's going to be my white cardstock. So that is my kind of plan, and let's see where it goes. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below, and let's get started. Okay, so I am starting off by cutting that little bar strip for my white cardstock and then trimming down this paper into about an 11 3/4. Basically, I'm just cutting a 1/4 inch on just two sides. That will give me an 1/8 of an inch all around my page, which is kind of the perfect size for me as far as framing that orange cardstock. So next is I'm going to start kind of placing my photos. I do have 3x4s and they are bigger than my pieces, but because I noticed that with 2x3s, the 2x3s are a little bit smaller than this, so that's why I'm thinking this is maybe 2 1/4 by 3 1/4 slots. So I'm just going to use 3x4s, and I am going to trim it. I'm just kind of moving things around to see the placement. As you can see, I have 6 photos, and I kind of did 2 on each of the rows of the boxes, and then here I'm just filling some of the stuff in. I will trim that down, but I just wanted to see placement right now. Now that was orange paper, as I said, I just added some no, not letter, but number stickers on them. I just wanted to use up a sticker sheet, and I think that's a great way to kind of make your own pattern paper. And then these circles, I'm going to find different places. Now you see those rectangles that I added on the right side. That was the initial plan, that I was going to use them on that right side to fill it up. And you can see here that I'm kind of happy with how they're looking. It's blocky, kind of matches the blocks of the openings of the frames on the rest of the page. But I actually will take that down, and then we'll just use a smaller accent in that place, and you will see that later. So I've also picked some scraps of pattern paper that I thought matched with the colors that I have on my photo, and then I cut them out a little bit bigger than, of course, my panel, so that I can adhere them on the back. And then here I'm starting to adhere my photos in my paper. Now I'm only going to do one row of this so that you don't have to see me kind of fiddle around and get everything adhered, but I'm just going to show you how I started this off. And I'm kind of, if you see that I'm kind of pushing things around or kind of scraping off some adhesive, it's because I'm using my ATG gun. And if I was a little bit smarter and if I planned this a little bit better, I would definitely use some liquid adhesive, because I think that was better in the long run than me fiddling around with all of the adhesive on there. And I am using my scissors just to kind of trim the excess off in between those panels. So I just want to take a minute here and just let you all know that I have been really grateful for all of the support that I've gotten in my the latest not episode, but the latest series that I did, which is a double page layout series. I'm so glad that a lot of you said that you like those kinds of videos, and rest assured that I will do more of those series in the near future, hopefully sooner than later. I've been really busy with school this fall. It's been really challenging for me to juggle everything that's on my plate, but I haven't forgotten scrapbooking and, of course, sharing them with you here in my YouTube channel. So please bear with me if I'm not as consistent as I used to be, and I hope that you will check back. If you did like my double page layout series, make sure that you check out my double page playlist, because I have a few there as well. And also check out my class. I do have a double page layout class, and I will make sure to link that in the description below as well. So going back to the layout, as you can see, I've adhered everything, and I've adhered the whole panel onto the white cardstock. I even adhered my title, and then now I'm working with the circles. And so I'm going to be, as you can see, I'm adhering those things. And then here I noticed that, wait a minute, I really like that other side of that red paper instead of the red stripe, and so I'm moving the tan circle on the bottom, and then I'm using that onto the side, and that will be kind of the only place where I'm going to use some embellishments on the right side. And I'm just using my ATG gun to kind of hold that down because I am using some glue pen, some liquid pen, and I want to make sure that that's stuck on there. So I'm just putting on a little bit of weight so that it doesn't move. And then here is that happy word that I've cut with a steel die cut, and I'm just trimming that off a little bit. Now it's yellow, and it's the brightest color of everything that's on my page, but I really like the color of it and what it says. And then I also think that by adding the most bold color onto the title kind of leads the eye directly onto the title, among other things that you look at on this page. And then I have this new, well, new to me anyways, stamp set from Technique Tuesday. It's an Ali Edwards stamp set, and I just love the fonts on this, and so I'm going to use it. And because it's new, I have to kind of pre-treat it a little bit by sanding the top layer of the stamps. I noticed that I get I get better impressions if I just sand the top off with a nail file. And then here, as you can see, it's not going to stamp really good at first, and so I'm going to do a few more sanding on the top of this one. So I'm just going to sand it, grab my sander, or I'm going to clean it up first and then sand it a little bit on the spots that I think needs a little bit more, and then restamp it. I'm just stamping it on kind of a sky blue cardstock from Basil, and then I'm gonna do the other two more circles with the words. I think it says this moment, hello today, and then remember this. And that's going to be kind of my visual triangle for this page. I am going to hand cut these out of the paper, and so all the other circles that I have messed up with, it's not going to end up on my page, which is totally fine with me. So I'm just fussy cutting all of these circles. Well, they're not really perfect circles, which is totally fine because I like the imperfections of it, because there's, the script writing with the imperfect circles just kind of works well together. And so I really like how it looks. So now I'm ready to adhere them. I'm going to put them in the centers of my perfect circles. And then I'm just trying to figure out where things are going to go. So that this moment one, I figured because it's going to be tucked in behind the word happy, that I don't need to add foam adhesive to that, but with the other two I will. Just because I want to be, or I guess only one, I'm only doing one circle. And then now I'm just going to be working on the title, or finishing up the title, and I'm just going to add the date. This layout came out really quickly for me, and I'm just going to finish it off with some cork hearts, and then I also have some close-up pictures at the end of this video. If you like these kinds of videos, and if it inspired you to use some of your scrap photos for scrapbooking, let me know in the comment section below and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and I would love to see you again here soon. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.